Hello everybody, welcome to our player card reviews for the Dream Eaters Deluxe expansion. We are always very late with these reviews, but we like to ensure that we've played with them enough so we don't just shrug and say, yeah, that's good. So we're very excited to talk about them today. These videos are going to be released slowly over time as we get through the rest of the whole cycle, and then at the end we're going to be recommending, if not for the deluxe, because you always should pick up the deluxe for each expansion cycle, but if you're going to be grabbing just the Mythos packs themselves, if they're worth it for the player cards. So let's dive in and start with the Hungering Blade. This is a 3-cost, 1 experience asset that commits for a fist and takes up a hand slot. It's an item, weapon, melee, relic, cursed. Wow. Limit 1 per deck. As additional cost to put this card into play, you must search your bonded cards for 3 copies of Bloodlust and shuffle them into your deck. So I'm not the smartest tool in the shed when it comes to remembering player cards. Is this the first version?
Remembering idioms?
Pardon?
Or remembering idioms?
Yeah.
The smartest tool in the shed.
I ain't the smartest tool in the shed. Is Bonded the first time in Dream Eaters, or was that also in the Circle Undone?
No, it's a Dream Eaters thing.
Okay, cool. So does one of you guys want to explain kind of what bonded cards are and how they work?
Well, let me double check.
Sure. Okay.
Brent, you tell them.
Oh, okay. So bonded cards are a pile of cards that are not really in your deck, but pertain to cards in your deck. So you start the game with them set off to the side, and they don't come into play until one of your cards tells you to do something with them. Mm-hmm. For example, this one says to shuffle them into your deck.
So we'll get to the actual bonded card in a second, but the action on the Hungering Blade is Fight. You get +1 fist for this attack for each attached copy of Bloodlust. This attack deals +1 damage. If this attack defeats an enemy, place 1 resource on this card from the token bank as an offering. And then Bloodlust is a weakness, madness, that's bonded to the Hungering Blade. So it says on the card what it associates with. Revelation, remove 2 offerings from Hungering Blade to attach Bloodlust to it. If you cannot, take 1 horror and shuffle Bloodlust back into your deck. As a lightning bolt, while attacking with the Hungering Blade, shuffle Bloodlust into your deck. You deal +1 damage for this attack, max once per attack. So Travis just built a deck around this card. So I imagine he's going to have some words about it. And I know, Brandon, have you also played with this one?
This card is sick, but I also thought that the weakness did 2 horror to you if you couldn't pay for it, so it's already better than I imagined.
Yeah.
So Bonded, this is the first time it was featured over the entire cycle, but there was the 2 limit 1 per deck cards from before the Black Throne.
Cool.
That had Bonded as well. But so this card's really cool, but at the end of the day, I don't think it's like super good. It's not like top tier anyway. It's fine. Like I said, it's really fun to play with, and it's really fun to build around, provided that you have the tools to do so. It's a little bit awkward in that Guardians typically don't have a ton of draw, so it can be difficult to find the Bloodlusts once you've got the offerings without something like a searching effect like Mandy Thompson feeding you Eureka's, or like Mr. Rook in a Zoe deck like I played. And you have to like kill things before you can get the Bloodlusts on it to get the plus punch.
Yeah. And
as just like a 3 money, or just playing it normally, it's like a bad machete kind of.
It costs less experience.
Yeah, it costs less. Well, I mean, I guess that makes sense. Yeah, but it gives you less punch, and then like
there's also only 1 in your deck.
Damage. Yeah, There's also only 1 in your deck, which makes it a little bit hard to build around. But between like Prepared for the Worst and Backpack, I think that it's pretty reasonable. You can find it consistently.
I think when in like a perfect world, when it goes off, it's very strong, right? Like if you
chopping things for like 3 damage is good. It's a little awkward that you lose the punch bonus when you lightning bolt away the Bloodlust. Mm-hmm. And something to remember. My opinion of this card is like, I think it's good. I don't think it's great, but don't let that make you shy away from trying it out.
Honestly, I think good but not great is like the perfect design of a card for this game, right? You don't want something that's so like strong that you put it in always, but like building around it can be really fun, right? And that's what's great about the Hungering Blade.
Yeah, like it was really fun when I was chopping up those ghouls and stuff.
Yeah.
But still, there's definitely a couple times when I was like, damn, I wish I just had like a gun.
Yeah. Or just like
I could shoot things with good instead of like trying to chop up these garbage enemies 4-4.
Yeah.
Yeah, like it is a worse machete before it's spun up, but once you've got 2 or 3 bloodlusts on it, this card
And
is
it's a slightly
pretty
better
good.
machete.
Except when you're trying to kill something big, in which case it's a much better machete.
Yeah.
Because you can deal 3 damage twice and then 2 damage once.
All right, let's move on to the next one, which we got is Solemn Vow. This is a 0-cost asset that commits for 2 brain symbols. So that means worst case scenario, it's a guts. It's a spirit with myriad and fast. Is myriad appearing for the first time, or was that in Circle and Done as well?
I'm pretty sure that's actually first time for this one.
So myriad means when you put it in your deck, you get 3 copies of it. That includes upgrades, so we'll be touching on those very soon.
You don't have to pay experience for each of them. If you have a myriad card that costs 1 experience, you only have to pay 1 experience. You get all 3 copies.
So Solemn Vow is play Solemn Vow under the control of another investigator at your location. As a lightning bolt, if the owner of Solemn Vow is at your location, exhaust it. Move 1 damage or horror from a card you control to a card that investigator controls. So this one obviously gets a lot worse with the less players that are in the game.
Unless one of them is Calvin.
Yes.
In which case they're like, please give me your damage now, though. I need it.
I don't think this card is...
This card's pretty good.
Yeah, I don't think this card's bad by any means, but I think just... Yeah. It's one of those ones that, like, in 3 players, it's like, yes. In 4 players, you're like, yeah, I'll do this. And then it's also, like, obviously planted here for Tommy, right? The super
it's very good for, like, Mark and Calvin as well.
Yeah.
Especially together.
And I mean, worst case scenario, you get 3 guts that don't draw cards, and that's not
that's
a bad
what I was gonna say. Even for 2 players, you just give 1 to your buddy, and then you've got 2 copies of guts.
Yeah. I don't think it's something you want to always include in a guardian. It has to be an investigator built for it. Like
you've also got a dumpster asset you can throw away to a crypt chill or something like that with it.
Yes.
You can play as like a shield.
I think the best thing about these myriad cards is that a lot of them are. A good chunk of them are pretty good that you're fine with just putting in your deck and having to choose 1 less card that you don't want, right?
And these things are a godsend if you're doing like some kind of random or chaos run.
Yes. Oh my god, yes. I remember that. Just the first thing
I
you
can
do is
take
buy
out
a
3
myriad
garbage
card
cards
and
for 3 guts.
I've done it. Next on our list is we got Segment of Onyx. This is a 1-cost, 1 experience asset that commits for a wild symbol. It's an item, relic, and occult. Myriad, so once again you get 3 of them. And fast. As a lightning bolt, if you have 3 copies of Segment of Onyx in play, set them aside out of play, search your bonded cards for a Pendant of the Queen and put it into play. So it makes the Myriad and bonded together. How exciting. Pendant of the Queen is a cost asset. It's an item relic. It takes up a next slot. Bonded Segment of Onyx uses 3 charges. If this card has no charges, set it aside out of play and shuffle 3 set-aside copies of Segment of Onyx into your deck. So basically you can just keep cycling it back and forth, which shouldn't be too hard for the majority of the yellow characters. As a lightning bolt, exhaust Pendant of the Queen, spend 1 charge, choose a reveal location and select 1. Move to that location, discover 1 clue at that location, or automatically evade an enemy at that location.
I think this is like in contention for the best card out of all of the packs from this cycle.
I mean,
so good.
It's very strong.
It's so
incredibly strong.
And it's especially like if you're playing Mandy or pretty much any other yellow investigator, it's so easy to put together.
Yeah.
And it's so cheap.
And you can keep doing it.
You just soak up all the segments of Onyx in your hand, and then like 1 turn you just like 3 resources, let's go. And then you get to play all the segments, put the pendant into play, and use the pendant without spending any actions.
Yep. It's juicy. And the pendant does such strong things for very little work.
Yeah, you just get to work in a hunch any location.
Yep. You get to elusive without like you can be like, I'm just gonna go here, right?
Well, you get both halves of elusive.
Yes, it's true. But like, yeah, it's just you get like so much power out of it.
Yeah. Or you get a find gate with no setup.
Yep.
And it uses charges.
Yep. And
only there was some
even
sort
if
of way
you
to
run
put
out
more
of charges, you'll just build it again, because by the time you're done it, your deck's gonna have like 5 cards in it, and you'll be like, let's go.
If only there was a character who wanted to have charges
If
on
only.
all their
only.
cards.
That would be pretty
Maybe they'll
neat.
make her one day, Travis. Maybe.
I think that's what I'm playing for a purple run.
Nice, that'll be good. I've never played Pen of the Queen, but I've seen it played, and it seems great every time. And just the card text is incredible, so I can't
It's just
imagine
so
anything
good.
else.
It takes up your necklace slot, but who cares?
Yeah,
Nothing you have could be better than this.
Exactly. It's one of the strongest necklace slots.
Except maybe like a key of these sometimes.
Yeah. But
There's
honestly,
the jellyfish egg that's really good.
I forget that Key of
Really,
Use
Brent?
exists because we've banned it. I completely forget that card's a thing.
Yeah,
I mean, we can play it, so you just have to pay your 10 experience.
Yeah.
it just costs 10 now,
Yeah.
which it feels very fair.
Astounding Revelation. This is a no-cost event, well, a impossible cost event that commits for a book symbol.
Yeah.
It's a research with Myriad. Astounding Revelation cannot be played.
Look at all these new mechanics you get to explain just.
I know, eh?
Just every card.
As a reaction ability, when you search your deck and Astounding Revelation is among the search cards, discard it. Either gain 2 resources or place 1 secret on an asset you control. Max 1 research ability per search.
Man, can you imagine if it wasn't Max 1? You'd run out a research librarian and be like, ha!
Yeah. This card's so... I like the research mechanic a lot. When I played this with in my Daisy Walker deck, it was a great time. And like, it's just... It's no cost. It's 3 cards in your deck. Like, there is a small cost. You could draw them, and when you draw them, it's not the best, right? Like, you draw them for your turn. And it also kind of changes how you mulligan at the beginning of the game, especially if you have more research things in your deck, where you don't really want to mulligan like crazy, because if you draw them, you've lost a good chunk of value. It's not like game ending, not even close, but it's still just like you would rather get these in the searches. And then, as Bryn said, with Research Librarian, you get one, like, you just get
to pick.
Yeah.
Yeah. I bet these would also be fairly solid in like some sort of min deck.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Where you can turn them all into like, well, this one's 2 book symbols now.
Yes, yeah, I agree with that. And the gain 2 resources is nice, and placing 1 secret is really good, right? Like, some of the things that you can do with it is like, I had my
the Panoptic manuscripts.
Yeah, and just putting more secrets on that. You also can use it to put secrets on to the untranslated version of things that require secrets, and then like it just does some of the work for you.
One of the translated versions requires secrets are what it uses, I think. So you can use it to charge that up too.
Yeah, and it has a shocked rabbi. He's like, my God, everything I knew was a lie. Cthulhu is here.
That's this guy.
I can definitely see them, like, I can definitely see like not many more research cards, if any at all, to be made. But I do want to see like 1 more to come at least.
You'll get your 1 more in the Dream Eater's Return too, I bet.
Oh yeah, good call. Travis, any thoughts on Astounding Revelation?
I like the research mechanic.
Yeah. It's a good time. Because also, doesn't Mr. Rook also have secrets?
Yeah.
So
Yes.
you with him,
Yeah, I've
you
used
can
that pretty good.
you can find this and just it's like free search. Mr. Rook, you can keep doing your thing.
Like playing, especially Mr. Rook with Mandy is pretty nuts, because you like look at your top 9 cards and like, oh, you get a weakness, poor baby. But then like you're also, I'll just put the secret back on Mr. Rook and get 2 cards. It's gross.
It's gross.
Pretty tough to argue with.
All right, let's move on. We're on to Bryn, the Crystallizer of Dreams. This is a 1-cost asset that commits for a brain symbol. It takes up the necklace slots, and it's an item and relic. As initial cost to put this card into play, you must search your bonded cards for 1 copy of Guardians of the Crystallizer and shuffle it into your deck. As a reaction, after you play an event, attach it face down to Crystallizer of Dreams instead of discarding it, to a maximum of 5 attached events. Attached events may be committed to skill tests as if they were in your hand. The Guardian of the Crystallizer is a 3/3/3 weakness monster. that it has Hunter. Its prey is Investigator with Crystallizer of the Dreams only. He enters play exhausted, and if there is no Crystallizer of Dreams in play, set the Guardian of the Crystallizer aside out of play.
They just want their baby back.
They just want their baby back.
Yeah, well, that's tough. Yeah, this card, so the first time I played this card, I didn't spawn the Guardian exhausted ever. And I still thought it was pretty good.
Yeah.
Yeah, like it turns out there are a ton of green events that do something awesome and then commit for like two matching symbols.
Yeah, just have them.
Yeah.
Like,
She wants her upgraded.
yeah, have them as like just in your reserves is great.
Yeah,
It does.
yeah,
It
like
helps the
I
green.
do.
It helps that green doesn't have a ton of competition for the accessory slot either.
Yeah, yeah. The only real competition in green is like either you're a fighter and you might want the garrote wire, or like lucky cigarette case.
Yeah.
And it's also
All right, I guess.
But this
Isn't-
card also fills a similar role of like effectively drawing you more cards.
Yeah.
And it's not even like one of those things where you exhaust it to commit the cards. You just, they're as if they were in your hand. So,
Yep.
like, go nuts.
Yeah, and then like whatever second color your investigator gets to play, I guarantee you there's also sweet events that you can put into the crystallizer from them too.
Bryn, are you gonna play versatile Nathaniel Cho and stick this in? That seems pretty good.
Yeah, I mean like it does seem pretty alright. Most of the fight events commit for fight symbols.
Yeah. Just keep punching. Don't
Yeah,
stop.
just keep punching.
All right. What's
I
next?
think
like
Golden Pocket
yeah.
Watch is also an accessory, but that's a one-shot thing.
Yeah, yeah. Also, by the time you're paying for something like that, you can just remove your crystallizer for it. It's not a big deal. Yeah, the only thing I don't like about this card is that the cards that are attached to it are face down. Like, I can look at them at any time because if I couldn't commit them to anything because I wouldn't know what symbols they had. So you're telling me that my teammates need to remember what I've got?
Yeah, I think, honestly...
That's
if-
probably like a play area clarity thing, so you don't forget that they're like not in play or
Yeah.
something like that.
Yeah.
Yeah, when I play it, I usually just attach them like face up anyway because it's just a bookkeeping issue otherwise.
Yeah, I agree. I don't think any of
I
the
don't think
Arkham
it's
Horror
important.
Police are going to break into your house and,
Yeah.
arrest
Well,
you for
and
that.
if they do, then like whatever. I'm sure I played other things wrong too and more egregiously.
Yeah. Yeah, they're like, you're not going to arrest me for making the Guardian of the Crystallizer enter play ready? What's this about?
Yeah, yeah.
All right. Easy Mark. This is a zero-cost, one-experience event that commits for a book and a foot. It's a trick. It has Myriad. Gain 2 resources and draw 1 card. After you play Easy Mark, play another Easy Mark from your hand at no cost.
This card's awesome.
Yeah.
It's like getting to play extra emergency caches in your deck because you still get that same action compression of no resources in a card for 3 actions worth of stuff. But also, like we said before, if you're playing a chaos or a randomized run, you can put this card in your deck and just remove 3 other cards.
Yeah.
That's pretty awesome.
It, like, playing it at 1 is, like, fine. Playing
Yeah,
it at
it's-
2 is good. Playing it at 3, woo boy, let's go.
Yeah, it also has skill icons on it, so you can put it in, unlike the emergency cache, you
Yeah.
can put it into the crystallizer and ever get it out again.
That's true. Yeah, I don't think there's much really to say about this card. It's good.
Yeah, it's just like it helps facilitate the big money deck 2 ways. Like it's like extra emergency cache, but it also helps you find your payoff cards.
And there's nothing more green than playing it, drawing an Easy Mark, and then playing it.
Yeah, just like off the top, like
Because it is after you play Easy Mark, so after the card fully resolves. So
yeah.
if you draw it from it, you do get to play it.
This
All right.
card's also like there to kind of enable a green splash from Andy Thompson, I think.
That makes sense. That does make sense.
Give you a reason to be there.
All right.
Can she play 1-costed green cards?
Yep. 10 level 0 to 1 events and or skills of your chosen secondary class.
Checks out. Next up, we have Stargazing. This is a zero-cost, one-experience event that commits for a wild symbol. It's an insight and an augury. Max twice per game. Play only if there are 10 or more cards in the encounter deck. Search your bonded cards for 1 copy of the Stars Are Right and shuffle into the top 10 cards of the encounter deck. The Stars Are Right is an augury bonded to stargazing, revelation, and remove the Stars Are Right from the game. Choose an investigator. That investigator draws 1 card, gains 1 resource, and may take an immediate action as if it were their turn. This action does not count towards the number of actions that investigators can take each turn. So this card's fun and cute. I don't think it's necessarily good or great, but
I strongly agree.
I've put it in my...
Travis loves this card.
I do like it, but I don't think it's that good.
Yeah, okay, you said you agree. I think it's fun, but there's better things in purple, especially that you can do with your experience. But if I have one, odds are I'll probably buy Stargazing. Because it's like, when it works, you're like, whoa, we beat you, game, you suck. But then most of the time your action be like, oh, I'll just move, I guess, right?
Yeah, that's always...
Or like stab this enemy I'm engaged with.
Yeah. Somebody will hit the Stars Are Right, and they'll be like, does anyone have an important action they want to take? And Travis is like, oh, I do. And then you give it to Travis, and he's like, I'll draw a card, gain a resource, and then for my action, I'll draw a card.
Yeah.
You're like, God damn it.
I mean, like,
it is important.
Like, when you strip it down, like, this card is like, it's like a ward of protection you can't control that doesn't deal you horror and gives you a card, a resource, and an action. But because you can't control it is what makes this one more fun than good.
Yeah, it's also real solid if you're playing like any of the Insight like tribal decks.
Yep.
Where you can like repeat it for free, or
yeah, I can see like with
like get to play it out of your discard pile, or
Gloria, who they just revealed for the next novel. She's probably going to be good with Stargazing because she can look at stuff and then also choose the order in which players draw them. Not that it matters, right? But that's going to be an exciting time. Okay, What do we got next? Open Gate. This is a 1-cost event that commits for a brain and a foot. It's a spell, myriad and fast, play only during your turn. Attach your location, group limit 3 in play. Investigators may move between any 2 locations with an attached open gate as if the locations were connected.
This card is like, it really shines in some scenarios, but you gotta know what you're doing with it.
Yeah.
Before you just stick it in your deck.
It's also really good in a Mandy Thompson build where you can reliably find more than one of them.
Yeah. I mean, you can usually do that with just Arcana shit too, but...
Are we going to be stuffing all three of them in our decks for our mono purple playthrough? Yes.
That seems like where it's best.
But yeah, this one, you kind of need to know the knowledge of what you're going into, right? Like, for example, Dunwich Legacy is probably a not great campaign to put this in.
What are you talking about? You can,
really strong. It's really good for the mountain climb and for wandering around town.
That is true, but like you get Essex County Express and you have like...
Yeah, you do. You do get to link the caboose to anything.
It gives you a foot symbol to jump over the train. Yeah. That's a good point. But I think this card it's good, and it's fun. Like the flavor of it is incredible, right? Like, and when it's good, it's gonna frickin' rock that scenario. Like much movement compression is gonna be sweet.
No, it's not very variable power level.
Yeah, this card would be insane in the Forgotten Age.
Yeah.
Where you can just like half of the scenarios are like you're going down into the cave and then you got to get back out. That's going to be hard, but if you've got a gate going to the opening of the cave,
then it's easy, baby.
Can't be that tough, right? Plus the exploring ones too, they often connect in like undesirable fashions. And you can just make your own connections.
Or that Carcosa one where the guy's chasing you and you're like,
oh my god, yeah. Yeah, that is like, oh baby, we've cracked this egg wide open.
Yeah, like there are definitely scenarios that this card can kind of trivialize. Yeah. Or like aspects of scenarios that this card can trivialize, but there are also scenarios where it does like pretty close to nothing.
All right. Let's go on over to Miss Doyle. She is the Cat General of Ulthar. She is a 3-cost, 1 experience asset that commits for a wild symbol. She's an ally creature Dreamlands and takes up the ally slot. Has two meat and 2 brain, limit 1 per deck, forced. After she enters play, search your bonded cards for Hope, Zeal, and Augur. Randomly choose 1 to put into play and shuffle the other 2 into your deck. When Miss Doyle leaves play, find each of those assets, even if they are out of play, and remove them from the game. Hope, Zeal, and Augur have a very similar text. After it enters play, discard the other 2 if they're in play, or other 1, because you can't have 2. If Hope is ready as an action, exhaust or discard him. Evade, attempt to evade with a base foot value of 5. If you discard Hope, this test is automatically successful. Then you may shuffle Hope into your deck, to put Zeal or Augur into play from your discard pile. Zeal uses Fist and Augur uses Book. Hope is the worst one of the 3 cats, mostly because Red is pretty good at running away from their problems as is.
Yeah, but Hope has like the best art, so there's that.
Yes, Hope does have the best art. Zeal's also really, I mean, they're all cute cats. I'm not going to get really too picky about that.
Yeah, what this card is actually best at is like convincing your non-board gaming friends to try this game with you.
Yeah.
Where you just build them a Duke deck with this, and they're like, you can have dogs and the cats in your deck. And they're like,
and they're like,
wow.
My God.
And they pick up this card and they shuffle them in, they read one, they're just like, holy shit, what
Yeah.
does this do?
My favorite thing, though, about Miss Doyle is that she can take more damage than pretty much every one of the yellow humans.
Oh, yeah. Well, none of the yellow humans are cat generals of Ulthar.
You know, you're like, this guy's a professor, and he's like, yes, if I get pushed, I will die. And the cat's like, you want to try that again?
Yeah.
Well, yeah, she's a cat. She's an old cat. She's only got 2 lives left, but she's still got more than those old men.
Yeah, exactly.
Besides, if you ever see a cat fall from a tall height, they're just fine.
Yeah, they're totally okay. I think this card is not as good as it reads because it's a lot of moving pieces to get into position. I wasn't too happy with her when I played her, but I feel like I could probably optimize a deck better to get the true effect of her.
She's also quite solid with calling in favors.
Yes, yeah. Like, I think there's room for where she's, like, really good, but I don't think she's ever going to be as good as, like, it reads when you get there, right? Like, it's kind of just going to be like, oh, well, I'll use my, oh, damn it, Hope, what are you doing here? You're not Zeal, right? Like,
yeah, she's supposed to be like the plant for the obvious upgrade for the Patrice deck, I think.
Yeah.
Because you cycle through your deck, and then, like, you kind of always have one when you need it. They don't take ally slots. You just dump whichever one plays convenient.
And I think because my Patrice deck was Catastrophe City, I never got to take advantage of it. And when they were out, when you can't take advantage of it, they're not that great.
Yeah, they're also, again, with calling favors, the small cats are also allies, so you can return them to your hand to go looking for a different one.
Yeah.
If that's what you need right now.
Yeah, I'm not saying by any means is she bad. I think the card is very good. Well, this is good, but...
I love your reasoning, Justin, when you're like, yeah, well, when the cards aren't good, then when you're not using them optimally, they're not very good. And it's like, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, but it's one of those things. She's not as good as she reads. You get that whole thing of the new players. Wow, this is what this is gonna do. It's not gonna do that consistently, right?
Oh no, you're absolutely right. It's just funny how you said it.
Oh yeah, oh definitely. All right, now let's move on to the last card, which is Fortuitous Discovery. This is an X cost event. It's myriad. X is the number of copies of Fortuitous Discovery in your discard pile. Investigate you get plus X book for this investigation. If you succeed, discover X additional clues at your location. I don't think this card is good. That's my thought.
Having played with it, I also don't think this card is good most of the time. I think that there are decks where you can make good use of it.
Mm-hmm.
Mostly, it's pretty good in, Wendy and Duke decks, because you can discard it for the early copies for the effects, and then, you can use it to boost up Pete's book to a respectable score once you get it, and just clear an entire location. And then similar thing with Wendy, you can just use the dirt copy. It's good. solid if you have a consistent way to get the first copy into your discard.
Yes. Yeah.
I think.
Yeah.
Because the first
I
copy
would agree with that.
trash.
Oh yeah, the first copy is garbage.
Yeah. If you get to play yellow cards again, you can. It is an insight, so you can abuse the cards that let you like replay insights or play as a copy of an insight in your discard for more uses.
Yeah, like I played
And that
this.
might be really good.
I played this card in a Mandy deck where it was very lackluster, most likely because I just didn't need it.
Yeah.
Oh man,
And like,
Justin,
Yeah?
eidetic memory mid deck. So then, like the first one does nothing, but the second one gets you an extra clue, and then you get to do it again with eidetic memory.
let's
Go
go.
for 2 extra clues.
Well, you have to do that anyways. Things myriad, Bryn.
Yeah. But like this way, you have 5 copies in your deck.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I
And
think.
then I'll play a Wendy deck, which was like a standalone deck and had a ton of experience. So it was like, it was good, but not as good as it would be, I think, early in a campaign.
Yeah. And I think the big reason why this card's not great is because you can just do it better without these, right? Like, it's a lot of setup for some gain, right?
Yep.
Like, yeah, in a perfect world, you're getting 3 clues off a location, right? But, like, deduction does that, right? Like an upgraded deduction. I know that's not in red, so I'm comparing like apples and oranges, but it's
I think
just
this card also shines if you like only have like, if you have a more limited card pool. I think it could be good. It can really open up having like
I think that's fair.
a red investigator. It's also pretty solid in like a sort of Preston deck, I guess, because it playing like the later ones, you just get a bunch of money. Like they're easy to play because you have a bunch of money, and then it gives you a bunch of books you can actually pass your test.
Yeah.
Contribute
time.
to the game.
What do we think of Dream Eaters, the cards in the deluxe expansion?
The cards are really fun.
Yep.
As far as powerful options, I think it's like pretty middle of the road.
Like, we recommend grabbing deluxe expansions because it comes with more investigators for you to play with, so you should be picking them up for more options for you to play. It has a very, very, very strong yellow card, so if you're yellow and you want to play it, it's worth your time for that one, for sure.
It's also got a couple of neat builder rounds.
Yeah. Yeah, there's a lot of like
there's
stuff
that.
where you can just like they're exploring the more like there's a lot of fun design with these cards. And
Yeah, like I definitely pick this one up if you like look at the investigators and you're like, yeah, I like them. But if you're just like looking for player cards, this one wouldn't be too high on my list.
yeah.
Like I said, probably like middle of the package.
So we'll see you guys in a few days where we're gonna start breaking through these Mythos packs one by one and talking about the player cards in those. Have a good one, and as always, GG's.